Alright, so in a lot of my previous videos, people have been asking me on how I do my color settings for my videos. My color settings make the game go from this default gray type of scheme to a more colorful, vibrant and engaging scheme. I really enjoy playing with color settings because that just makes the game easier to concentrate on, and it basically makes it way more beautiful. Thing is, I do my color settings differently from when I'm in game and also in post-production, but in this video I'm going to be showing you on how to do your color settings both ways for video and while you're playing in game. I'm also going to be listing different ways because depending on your hardware maybe you can run other color changing softwares, so I'm going to be showcasing all of that in this video. Now, if you end up enjoying, a subscribe would be greatly appreciated because I post a lot of Valorant content on here, but anyways, I'm going to begin with the softwares that adjust the way you see the game. After that, I'm going to list all of the post-production ways to make the game more vibrant. The first software is the built-in Nvidia software, which is only available unfortunately if you have an Nvidia card. So all of my AMD card owners and Intel card owners won't be able to use this method. But for my Nvidia card owners, listen up. First, you're gonna have to open the Nvidia control panel. After that, you're gonna have to go to display and adjust desktop color settings. Here, I usually like to increase the gamma to about 1.20 and the digital vibrance to about 75% to 80%. Sometimes instead of the gamma, I also like to increase the brightness a bit, but very little. Honestly, if you have an Nvidia card, this is probably the most convenient software you can use for color saturation and manipulation on your screen. It is already there on your PC if you have an Nvidia card, and honestly it works great and I have never had any bugs with it, even though I'm on an 8-year-old Nvidia card right now. For AMD card owners, it's also pretty straightforward. You have to open up the software, go to gaming, after that go to display, enable the custom color option, and after that adjust the settings to your liking. Now, if you don't have either of these, I would just recommend to install Vibrance GUI. This video is not sponsored by it, I'm just recommending it. Vibrance GUI is basically the same software for adjusting your vibrance and brightness in the game, but it's third party and so it works on any hardware. Out these all three softwares, I would say my personal favorite is the AMD one. Even though I'm not a fan of AMD's drivers in general, I do think that their color correction software is the best. In a close second, I think it would come to the Nvidia software, and to the third and last place it would come to the Vibrance GUI. That's not to say that Vibrance GUI is bad, it's just that it lacks more features that the AMD and Nvidia softwares offer. For example, Nvidia software allows you to up the brightness, and the AMD software even allows you to adjust the color temperature. Vibrance GUI only allows you to up the saturation, and that's about it. Along with the color boosters and all of these softwares, I also like to make my Valorant settings match my PC specs. So if you want a whole video about Valorant settings as well, make sure to comment that because I could be making that in the future if you guys need it. But now that we have discussed all the ways I use to make Valorant brighter only on my display, I also want to explain to you how to make it look vibrant and lively on your videos and in post-production. The way that you apply saturation is going to be very different from software to software. Me personally, I use Premiere Pro to edit my videos, but I know a lot of people who use DaVinci, and I also know people who use Sony Vegas Pro. I also know some TikTok creators which still use CapCut to edit their videos, which honestly is not bad, it's just that CapCut is rarely used to edit YouTube videos. Anyways, here's how I edit my videos in Premiere Pro. First of all, I go to the effects and I grab a Lumetri color preset. After that, I select this LUT right over here. I set the intensity to 55, and after that I up the saturation from 100 to 150. Here is the before and the after. I do also feel the need to inform y'all that over the time on YouTube I have changed my color settings several times. Some have looked terrible, some have looked okay, and some have looked great. The color settings I am using now, I feel like they look pretty alright, though they could always be better. I just remember in the past I used to use LUTs that were used for film grade cameras, not for just light color grading, and so my footage just ended up being really weird. It just ended up looking like somebody put a fader on it and after that saturated it to like the absolute maximum. Now let's talk about other softwares. Most softwares today all have the option for you to boost the vibrance or saturation of the video that you're editing in it. That's why I feel like it shouldn't be a problem. Now unfortunately I cannot do a tutorial on how to do this on every single editing app out there. I'm sure there's many tutorials for that as well. But anyways, now I want to dedicate this segment of the video to talk about what are the benefits of using saturated footage in your videos and also saturating it for yourself in the game. I feel like the most obvious benefit from saturating your videos and the gameplay of your videos is higher engagement. Humans love shiny and colorful stuff being shown to them, and when you have an infinite dopamine generator in front of you and you're watching somebody just talk about something, the fact that the thing you're watching is also saturated and colorful also makes your dopamine receptors go absolutely crazy. Is the reason why a lot of TikTok creators saturate their videos. It's also the reason why most creators nowadays use thumbnails that are basically deep fried. Second of all, it also improves your focus if you're using it in game. I find it way easier to concentrate on what is going on in my competitive match if my game looks great. I find it way easier to spot enemies on my screen, and of course, as I said before, I'm way more focused and locked in on the game. Third of all, it just looks better. Valorant as a whole is a very grey looking game. When you take off all color settings, it actually looks kind of depressing, especially on some maps. But then you take the vibrance and apply to the game, you take the color saturation, you apply to the game, and it looks wonderful. Now let me know in the comments if this video helped you out. Also, please mind subscribing because it will be greatly appreciated. I upload a bunch of Valorant content on here and I think you might find it interesting. I'm also going to be making different tutorials in the future about the best settings, about other color setting tips and tricks, so make sure you're subscribed for that. But anyways, I'll see you next time and goodbye.